All right. Connecting, recording, connecting, and other such things. And there's Facebook, there is YouTube, and whatever the fuck Twitch is, and podcast audio, and internal recording. We're all going to go ahead and have ourselves a grand old time. So, folks, I don't know if I'll be able to really catch comments live. I'll see if I can. There we are. Maybe I'll be able to catch comments live. Be on for just a few minutes here. Have ourselves a little shindig. All right, Scamuel, some might say Alito. Scamuel Alito. So, he is a little unhappy with all this news and reporting and folks leaving comments. Not a fan. So, Justice Scamuel Alito claims that he is the victim of your reaction to his actions. You see, Justice Scamuel Alito would like everyone to know that in the wake of the Supreme Court revoking 50 years of abortion rights and then being plagued by corruption scandal after corruption scandal, our criticism of him and his institution is very much hurting his feelings. Alito told the Wall Street Journal, of course, the Wall Street Journal, and tangent, let me tell you something. At one of my contracts, I do the contract work because bills exist. One of the factories, the management staff, they actually have screens around the building that have stuff like, oh, this is coming up for employees, employee picnic. Oh, there's openings up for management positions here. Apply and see if you can get promoted and whatnot like that. But also random headlines from the Wall Street Journal, like legitimately just propagandizing the staff right there in the building. Fun stuff, right? So Scamuel Alito goes to the Wall Street Journal because, hey, friendly turf. And in this interview published this past Friday, it is now Tuesday, it's published Friday that attacks the legitimacy of the High Court. Legitimacy of the High Court. Let's get a quote from Scamuel Alito. "We are being hammered daily, and I think quite unfairly in a lot of instances." I don't actually know how he talks. Continuing. "And nobody, practically nobody, is defending us. The idea has always been that judges are not supposed to respond to criticisms, but if the courts are being unfairly attacked, the organized bar will come to their defense. But if anything," the justice continued, "they've participated in some degree in these attacks." Now, all right, so Scamuel Alito is very hurt by these attacks. Nigga, you wanted the fucking job. Not very good at this camera resolution thing. All right, continuing. So let's take a look at some of the Supreme Court ethics scandals that came up in just the past 2 weeks. You got Clarence Buster-Ass Thomas and his homegirl Jeannie, his wife. They tried to overturn a presidential election. And he's being financed by a millionaire Nazi man collecting Nazi memorabilia, which is never a questionable practice for some reason. And also has a garden full of dictator statues. And let's not forget, he also does not charge Thomas's mother rent for a house he owns. You see, that's not corruption. And you best not talk about it, or Scamuel Alito will tell you how his feelings are hurt. He kind of looks like Bloomberg. Now, remember your nigga Neil Gorsuch? He was the nigga that was argued in favor of the corporation when Cuz, the truck driver Cuz, got caught out there in the snow and was about to get all frostbite and shit all on his toes. Like, nigga, I'm cold as fuck. And he left his truck, and Gorsuch was like, nigga, fuck you. Nigga, stay with the truck. Yeah, remember that guy got on the Supreme Court. Well, Neil Gorsuch, the one who discloses gifts as small as cowboy boots and a fishing rod, wholesome things. Disclosing that you received those things, to me, in and of itself, is propaganda. That showing folks that you done got yourself some cowboy boots and a fishing rod, you know who the fuck you're pandering to and why. All right? Quit looking at us like we're fucking stupid, Neil. So he shows cowboy boots and a fishing rod, but did not disclose that he sold a 40-acre Colorado property that he co-owned to the CEO of a law firm that regularly argues cases before the court. So you got to look at what did the law firm really buy, right? Because these are investors. When you invest, you expect a return. So when they buy that 40-acre joint, they're like, yo, nigga, rule in our favor when we argue, no matter what the fuck we argue, my nigga. Okay? And he's going to rule in favor of what they argue, no matter what the fuck they argue. And then when they do cases, remember, it's a law firm in general, so they do cases in general. That goes on the resume of the company. And people can say, oh, them niggas be winning Supreme Court cases. That's who I'm going to hire. Boom. More money in the pocket. Return on investment. Okay? And also keep in mind that property was just sitting. For some reason, it just couldn't sell. And then all of a suddenly, when Donald Trump gave him a really cool job, it's just ready to move. And who would have thought that those would be the customers? Couldn't have seen it coming. Clearly not corruption. Right? Right. Continuing. Remember that nigga, Chief Justice Roberts? The chief? And his wife, Jane, paid $10.3 million in commissions from elite law, was paid $10.3 million in commissions from elite law firms. That, of course, also had business before the court. Again, if they're spending $10.3 million, let your imagination run on what they expect to get back. Right? Remember, we talk about these right-wing niggas with the ideas of short-term gains and long-term losses. Trust everything they do is in bad faith. They know how to get long-term gains and take a short-term loss. The 10.3 million is a short-term loss to the gains that will come on the back end. Right? So that's Clarence, Alito, and Roberts and Gorsuch, and that's really cool. Dancing it forward. Now, as the story came out about just how corrupt, unethical, and, well, frankly, brought the people are who are deciding things like what we can do with our bodies and who gets voting rights, Alito is complaining that they are the victims in all this, you see. And this is because of a leaked draft opinion in the Dobbs a month early, and people protested. Because you see, when you use the First Amendment to say, hey, I don't like how you're voting on this, that's an attack on him, and he is be a victim. But also remember, America is just so damn constitutional. The Constitution, constitutionally, and constitutionally. Cornball ass niggas. Continuing, we have a quote again from Alito. Those of us who thought to be in the majority thought to have approved my draft opinion. They were really targets of assassination. It was rational for people to believe that they might be able to stop the decision in Dobbs by killing one of us. End quote. Use a lion-ass, mark-ass nigga, okay? Nobody was coming to kill your punk ass. Wasn't nobody coming to run your fade. Nobody was even coming to slap box with you. Nobody was even coming to thumb wrestle you. Nobody came to play tic-tac-toe or Connect 4 against you. Nothing. You're a fucking liar. All right, dancing it forward. We're getting towards the end here. So let's not forget that Alito himself was the one who leaked the Hobby Lobby birth control decision to donors in 2014 before calling the leak a grave betrayal. Now, so he's against leaks to the people, but to the donors, you see, donors are not people. Donors are a means to an end to get more paper in your pockets, to flex more power over your fellow human being. But the people, well, fuck, those are the fellow human being. Fuck them. Leak to donors, not to voters. What, do you want the voters to be informed? Informed voters don't vote for fascists. You need them ignorant, or they won't choose their own demise. You getting it yet? If you're listening to this, you're already in the echo chamber. You been done got it. And remember that from 2014. That's when the memes were going around where the Hobby Lobby sign was computer flipped up, Photoshop, whatever they call it. The computer image was flipped up to say Sharia Lobby, and Sharia Lobby because they want a theocracy. All right, a theocratically driven nation, theocracy. And toward the close here, we're too deep in this horrific system and it's set up by people of whom choose to classify themselves as white, and we can't use the same system to get out. I think we have to just ride it out until the eventual self-destruction. Now, Ted Cruz. All right, let's do a little flipsy-do over to your main man, Ted Cruz. And I'm going to give us a brief little transition period as we head that way.
Now, sisters and brothers, we know we got over by the blood, the sweat, and the tears of sheroes and heroes, some whose names we know and some whose names we do not know. But I will tell you something, we have been here before. Now the only difference is we got some company, Rev. We got our gay lesbian sisters and brothers with us this time. We got our Hispanic, Asian, Native American sisters and brothers with us this time. I think Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King said we may not have gotten here on the same ship, but we are in the same boat right now.
In Father Teresa's wine cellar, we believe all oppression is intersectional. And this means our analysis of current events frequently includes discussion of difficult and explicit content. Any combination of the following topics could be included in our show: murder, rape, war, climate change, racism, sexism, violence, sexual violence, homophobic violence, heterocentrism, discrimination and abuse against individuals of nonconformist sexuality, domestic violence, child abuse, child rape, child neglect, elderly abuse, verbal abuse, police brutality, microaggressions, ableism, cyberbullying, genital mutilation, ideological extremism, and people just being total fucking assholes.
All right. Now let's head on over to the news of Fox. Some call it Fox News. All right, so Ted Cruz went on Fox News because he heard that his mans in them, Scamuel Alito, was being mistreated by these goddamn coloreds, by uppity white women, by transgender folks and anybody that don't just revere the supreme royalty, the Supreme Court, and love them and adore them. All right. So let's see what Ted Cruz has to say.
Meanwhile, activists are all over the Supreme Court right now. Let me move on to this. 3 conservative Supreme Court justices are...
Let it be known, they start out lying. Activists are not all over the Supreme Court. You understand what they're doing, like how that propaganda functions. They are running straight up to their audience, and it's the idea of like, oh, Antifa and BLM is burning down cities, right? Activists all over the Supreme Court. Like, you know what image they're conjuring up in a MAGA chud's head. They're called MAGA chuds, right? I think so. Continuing.
3 conservative Supreme Court justices are under investigation for ethics. They are attacking Clarence Thomas. Did Clarence Thomas do something wrong?
No, you know what Justice Thomas did wrong? He's been one of the greatest Supreme Court justices ever to serve on the court.
Okay. They're attacking Clarence Thomas. Again, words are not attacks. And always keep in mind, the right wing gives a blue fuck about freedom of speech. Freedom of speech means nothing to them. They're lying every single time they try to tell you that that is a priority to one degree or another. All right? So, no, not being attacked. And Ted Cruz, he's the greatest, right? Start with that. That's your premise. How does Ted Cruz contextualize that?
He has been a principled constitutionalist, and the left despises him. Democrats hate Justice Thomas, and they save a special degree of hate for him because he's a black man.
Yeah, because you see, the Democrats hate him because he's a black man. And I've grown over it over the years, right? I was one of those cats that was like, the Democrats and the Republicans are identical. Nah, corporate. Not gonna pretend that the Republicans aren't some whole different kind of wacky fucking animal. All right, so again, just bullshit after bullshit. Every single sentence is a lie.
And their view is an African American is not allowed to be a conservative.
And is not allowed. Now, keep in mind, when Barack Hussein Obama was in, he was not in favor of marriage equality. And he never did anything in favor of marriage equality for the whole 8 years. Remember, it just happened to be during his tenure that the Supreme Court voted for marriage equality. Barry didn't do shit for that. But apparently, they're not allowed to be conservative. Let's also not forget that on Barry's way out, he went and gave one of his classic Obama speeches about how you little Negro boys need to pull up your pants and be good fathers. Doesn't sound sound like a bit of a conservative speech? Maybe? Not sure. Figure it out. Come the fuck on. Barry's conservative as fuck. He called himself a blue dog back when he was in the Senate. Or did we forget that he was a senator for kind of a long time? All right, continuing.
Not allowed to disagree with left-wing orthodoxy. You know, Justice Antonin Scalia, whom I knew well, was every bit as conservative as Justice Thomas. Mm-hmm. The left didn't heap that kind of contempt on Justice Scalia.
Nigga, when I say every single sentence is a lie, you know damn well we couldn't stand Scalia's wacky ass. As soon as he died, the memes flowed. Because we don't like that nigga, man. Come on. All right, let's hear more of your silly shit, Tedro.
Justice Thomas they view as a traitor because he is African American and he's an extraordinary justice.
As a traitor, keeping in mind that Joseph Robinette Biden, current Democratic president, former Democratic vice president, career-long Democratic senator from Delaware. Like, come on, cuzzo. That like Clarence Thomas, that's his boy. Double entendre.
How disgusting.
And listen, the quote ethics complaints they're raising, every single Supreme Court justice, all 9 of them, take trips across the country.
Whoa, all that he's gonna name names because there's very few of them to memorize. But so everybody takes trips. What is different about Clarence's trips and with whom? Right? Gloss over the corruption. Gloss over, hell, just to some degree, I'd say they walk through the corruption and just don't talk about it. Right? Niggas just walk through barbed wire and be like, I ain't cut, you cut? We sick?
Take trips internationally that are paid for by others. Many of the liberal icons, Ruth Bader Ginsburg took over 100 trips.
Again, we're talking about whom is buying you off. If you have a beef with who they're taking trips with, name that person and why you have that beef. I say I got a beef with that buster ass Nazi nigga that be kicking it with Clarence Thomas because that nigga's a buster ass Nazi nigga. Run my fade. All right? I got a beef with the way niggas like Gorsuch get down because Gorsuch chooses corporations over life, but then votes against reproductive rights while calling that being pro the fuck life. Nah, nigga, articulate your beef. But this is why you always know clown-servatives only act in bad faith. They're never honest. Stop thinking you can debate them. You can't because they don't care. All this online debate shit is, I mean, particularly like these video niggas. It's all performance art. It's just a damn show. All right. And then as far as the comment sections in these threads, drop a couple of facts and then tell them you're at an impasse. No need to keep talking. Get the last word if you need to. Turn off notifications. And go eat a fucking sandwich. A really big fucking sandwich.
Stephen Breyer took over 100 trips. Sonia Sotomayor took over 100 trips. And all of the media, all the Democrats who are attacking Justice Thomas, they don't care at all. They're
the homie Amanda Loco, tell me your pronouns, cuz. Amanda in the comment section said, Ted Cruz is so corrupt, he dipped out of Texas while that winter storm froze the fucking energy grid. Bring that, it kind of faded away. There it goes. That motherfucker should have been recalled ASAP for that shit. Yo, Amanda, and tell me your pronouns, nigga. We were actually interviewing a Texas resident live, I think either on the Phoenix and Williams show page or on this page. We were live interviewing someone in that snowstorm, and cuz power actually went out while we were live on the air. That shit was staying going out. Yeah, the Texas power grid is a fathermucker. Continuing.
Not looking at any of the Democrat justices. They're not looking at any other judges. This is a political smear job directed at Clarence Thomas because he is an extraordinary constitutionalist.
A political smear job. It's just news. Should people not report? Again, reporting, okay, right there. Pronouns. All right, good money. Thanks, cuz. And remind me if I forget. I be interacting with hella niggas. But yeah, where was I? Run that back on Tedro.
Your job directed at Clarence Thomas because he is an extraordinary constitutionalist.
Yeah, a smear job. Remember, Fourth Estate. Read the whole entire First Amendment. He is arguing against the First Amendment. These so-called constitutional ass niggas. Now, continuing.
And the left hates him for it.
More of the same. Now, meanwhile, you've got Alito, Justice Scamuel Alito, saying that he knows who leaked the Dobbs draft to Politico last year. He thinks he knows who it is. Is it surprising to you that we still do not know who leaked it?
You know, it is surprising, and we need to know. The leaking.
And now, so I'm against this reporting on Clarence, Uncle Clarence Thomas, I might say. We don't like that reporting protected under the First Amendment. But as far as this nigga that leaked, we need somebody to snitch and publish it. I'm telling you, when you say talking out the both sides of yo Nizek,
of that draft was one of the greatest violations of the trust, of the integrity of the Supreme Court of the United States. It was really an assault on the rule of law. And if they think they know, the court needs to redouble the investigation. Justice Alito said he didn't have enough evidence. Here's what I believe the Chief Justice should do. I believe the Chief Justice should call in the FBI to assist with the investigation.
Now remember, it wasn't even a full ass year ago that these niggas was talking about abolish the FBI. They truly don't give a fuck about what words come out of their mouths as long as the end result is white supremacist Christo-fascism. Whatever words they have to say, all right? If they have to come out and fucking say, I don't know, mumble rap is awesome and I totally understand them and the lyrics are spellbounding. If they have to say that to get their end result, a white supremacist Christo-fascism, they will.
Marshal's office conducted the investigation. The Marshal's office are very good people, but they don't have the equipment, they don't have the experience in forensic investigations. The FBI does. Now, the court was reluctant to do that for separation of powers reasons. You don't generally invite another branch of government into a coordinate branch. But given the severity here, what I would encourage the Chief Justice to do is invite the FBI to work cooperatively with the marshals, get the evidence, because the individual who leaked this draft opinion should be prosecuted, should go to jail. If they're a member of the bar, they should be dismissed.
All right, we're at the end of this video clip. So the end takeaway, and thank you, Amanda Loco. Hella on point. Yeah, my biological mother got me into this shit in 1992. And then and she died shortly after that. And in 1994, I became a big news nerd, just ripping through those newspapers every single day from the age of 11. I just stayed on it. I'm a relatively ignorant person, but I mean, you know, bullshit smells loud. You can always spot it. And but so ultimately the big takeaway is Ted Cruz is now pro FBI snitching, doesn't give a damn what he says as long as he gets his fascism that he wants. So Ted Kashi 6'9" came on Fox News for that. I gotta wrap this up. So folks wanna hold it down for me, homie. I need broccoli. I got bills. This is part of my job. PayPal.me/Phoenix and William, Patreon.com/Wine Media Fund. If you don't follow the Swap USA page, Swap USA is Sex Workers Outreach Project, and my spouse works for Sex Workers Outreach Project. And then I assist and I produce their podcasts for them. And I'm going to go ahead and work on some material to publish there. And then I'm going to get ready to go do a shift because I also have to do that. So essentially, three jobs, which, what did George Bush say? Remember that moment? You know what? Let's pull that up just for funsies on the onesie. Dooba-doop, skip, bop, flibble-doo. Going over here. George Bush. Yeah, remember, what is it when you have three jobs to function under capitalism?
There's a certain comfort to know that the...
Uh-oh.
There's a...
Bad audio. There's
a certain comfort to know that the promise is made to be kept by the government. You don't have to worry.
That's good because I work three jobs and I...
All right, so George Bush is talking to that constituent. That constituent says, I work three jobs, and George Bush says...
I feel like I contribute.
You work three jobs.
Three jobs, yes.
Uniquely American, isn't it? I mean, that is fantastic that you're doing.
Uniquely American, that is fantastic. So Republicans should love me. All right, let me raise up and bounce. Peace to Amanda Loco. Stay cool out there. Dooba-doop. In stream and Twitch, stop